memories are so short. That's why God has us. That's why the whole creation of memorials and memorials was there. Because you know, it ain't because I need to be reminded, y'all. Y'all forgive me. So I need you to go build this. Just so it's a reminder. I need you to celebrate this day. Just so. So you'll remember. Because if you don't, you think you did all this. Or this just happened. It ain't for him. You know, this is another conversation too. There's nothing more disheartening than to see someone who has any kind of status get themselves into trouble, and we all ask, where was his people? Where was his entourage? Where was the voice of reason? Elijah left his voice of reason behind. He isolated himself. Once again, was Elijah truly scared? Prepare for the journey. In 1907, the angel told him to eat some more because the journey that you're on, the 40 days, the 40 nights, which he probably didn't know it was 40 days, 40 nights. He didn't know that. But I need you to eat some more because the journey that you're on, if you don't eat some more, you're not going to make it. Can you, off note, what kind of meal was this? Supernatural. What meal have you ever eaten that would last you 40 days and 40 nights walking, essentially up a mountain? You're not even walking on flat ground. You burn energy just walking with it. What meal? Prepare for the journey. Don't be weary in well doing. We make terrible decisions when we're tired. See, the angel knew that he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be walking for a very long time. This is all the opportunity on this full meal, and the meal wasn't just nourishment physically. This was spiritual nourishment they had. That's the only thing that could sustain him supernaturally for them. But he had 40 days to think about what was to come. He had 40 days in isolation, no conversation, just to have the conversation with themselves. Okay, what just happened to me? Why am I running? There was plenty of time for him to get himself in a position to say, okay, I was tripping. You can't listen. 40 days and 40 nights in isolation, walking to a place that God told you to go to, is plenty of time for you to work out your issues. So when you are in isolation, what are you thinking about? When you are, see, this part of my issue with Elijah, not getting ahead of myself, but part of my issue with Elijah, were you really scared? Was that the truth? Or was that the excuse you was using? Because you had all this time to think about what's going on. Hear me? You had time. There's no way in that 40 days, 40 nights, I'm not saying you thought about it every day, but you had some few good hours when you had that question. Where am I going? What is he going to say? Because I know I'm being led to speak out. And what is going to be my response? Take the time to feed yourself mentally and spiritually. That was the 40 days, 40 nights. Elijah, did you do that? Don't sell your inheritance because you allowed yourself to get hungry like Esau did. Inheritance. What does that have to do with what we're talking about? We're not talking about an Esau situation. We're talking about Elijah. What does that have to do? Listen, he gave up a prominent, or on his way to give up a prominent position directly ordained by God for him and him only. He was about to give up something that was near and dear, like a privilege. So you would say, why? What does that have to do? He's about to give this thing up. But he had time. He had time. Remember, he had 40 days, 40 nights. Don't isolate yourself. Prepare for the journey. So, my next point. When God asks you a question, see, now we're at the point where he's made it to the mountain. And he's there. And I think this is, I want to say we're to 10. When God asks you a question, stop and consider why he's asking you. Our finite minds our finite minds is in no comparison to God. He is now, he was, and he will be. He knows all and is all. If he asks you a question, it's not because he's looking for you to provide him a solution. He's looking for you to stop and think about what you're doing. He already knows, but he's looking for you, hoping that you say this out loud and you can hear your own foolishness. Me and the wife got a thing going all the time, when we have our discrepancies, where one of us will ask the question again, hoping that the other one will hear themselves out loud. Because we say a whole lot of stuff in our head makes sense. But when you speak it, sometimes you can answer the question before you speak it, you have to think it. And I learned to, before I let that come out, let me, because, I'm okay with having to say I'm sorry, but I don't like using that unnecessarily. I use it, because I like to keep stuff down. But yet, I don't like passing them out, because at some point, they ain't worth nothing. Amen. Thank you, brother. But we have this thing where it's, I'll say, I'm human, that A, B, C, and D. I'm going to say this again. In order for that to be a trigger. See, we talked about this, and we say, hey, when we get in situations, and I ask you the question the second time, stop. Just stop. Because the thing is, what we'll do is, we'll get stuck in our perspective of things. And we don't want to let it go because we don't want to be wrong. I don't want to have to give out another one of these cards. So I like when she gives me grace. Because to me, that's my way out. I can get out without losing face, without having to feel shameful about it. It gives me an opportunity to say, okay, I see your perspective. And I can do it wrong. Okay, I see what you're saying. It's easy that way. But if I go on and I edge this thing on and I double down. I'm gonna double down. It's not, and I'm just walking right to this trap. Whereas I'm gonna create this big scene and have to listen. Humble pie. You can have a small slice, or you can have the whole cake. You eat a whole cake, it ain't gonna feel good. It's gonna turn out wrong. You're gonna get a tummy ache if you eat that whole cake. I'd rather have a little slice like, that was good, thank you very much. But when God asks you that question, when he asks, the voice of God, when he asks you the question, stop. Let that be your trigger. Let me rethink my answer. If you remember back in Genesis 3, God asked Adam a similar question. He asked the question that he already had the answer to. Adam, where are you? Please understand, God knew where he was. He wanted Adam to explain how he got there. It wasn't rhetorical. Adam, I gave you very specific things to do. And you can have all of this. Don't touch that. We are all guilty of having everything we want. We always want what we can't We always put ourselves in that position where we got to go back with this humble pie and explain, okay, I gave you all of this. Why'd you have to touch that? He asked the same question. But part of that is we don't want to have, it's off topic here. We don't want to give him the real reason why we touched that. If you notice that when they partook of the fruit, they didn't go get a bag to put over their head. They went got fig leaf to cover their private parts. The stuff that was near and dear. They covering their shame. Most of the time, when he comes and asks that question, we don't want to get down to the real reason why. We want to cover that shame and come with an excuse. Oh, it was the woman you gave me. We want to point to it was the woman you gave me. They're trying to kill me. I'm zealously searching after you, God, but your people ain't. We pointing fingers, we taking credit, we being dramatic, and we're not answering the question because we don't want to answer the question because we answer the question, it exposes our shame. We're going to talk about let the question be the trigger to reevaluate things. That's your opportunity to save yourself. When you have purpose, you must keep your eyes on God and not the storm. When you have purpose, you must keep your eyes on God and not the storm. If we go back and review 1 Kings 19 and 12, this is when, I've already read it, so I'm just going to paraphrase what happened. After he gave the first excuse, that should have been a trigger, he said, okay, go stand out on the mountain and wait for me. And it says, God passed him by. If God says, go stand on the mountain and wait for me, and it says God passed, that means he saw the glory. He saw God with his own two eyes. And any occurrence, and all the occurrences that we've ever read in the Bible, when somebody, the few people that got a chance to witness God, they were all in awe. They even to the point where he was so glowing that they couldn't look. It was just so, yeah. But then it says, a wind came by. I think it's the wind. Earth, wind, and fire. The wind came by. But it says, I'm not in there. Then there came an earthquake, shook loose the rocks. And he said, but I ain't in that either. Then he said it was a fire. And God told him, I'm not in that. What am I saying? The glory walked past you. You see him in all his glory. Your focus should have been there. If your focus is there, you're not going to see this stuff. We focus on the wrong stuff all the time. He said, keep your eyes on me. I got that. He told Peter, you come on the water. Come on. But Peter started looking at the waves and lost faith because he wasn't looking at the God himself saying, come to me. He's looking down. We do it all the time. Let's be honest. I do it. Okay. I know it's not true. I do it all the time. Don't look at that stuff. I ain't in that. not in there. I'm over here. We always wonder why you know, me. You know, you drive down the road, you miss your exit. God's telling you go here, but you're over there, but you don't realize you missed it because the GPS blanked out on you. You don't realize that you're way off beat until you realize you're way off beat. And you're like, how did I get here? Because I told you to turn right or left, and you went right. I'm not over there. We're supposed to get up every day, and God, I want to be where you are every day. We wonder about certain situations we're in because, yeah, you're over there because I told you a long time to stop that. Now you want me to come save you. You could have avoided that. Why are you over there when I'm here?